So if you had to sell your two-wheel bike in favor of keeping the Tri Glide, would you sell the Softail? So one thing I always get asked is my opinion on Trike products, and the extent of my knowledge is based solely on customer feedback, because I've never even ridden a Trike, but you have, and so what can you tell me about riding a Trike as opposed to a two-wheel bike, which is all I have experience with, and most people, are the same. Most people haven't ever ridden a Trike, so what can you tell us about riding a Trike in terms of pros and cons, Trike versus two-wheel bike?
Well, there's a lot that's the same
Mm-hmm.
about riding a trike, and there's a few things that are different riding a trike from two wheels. So you're in the wind on both,
Right.
and there's not near as much stigma. Back when I started riding a trike in 2011, there was a lot more stigma about riding a trike
Yeah.
back then, and but there's not near as much now. And when you're in the wind, when you're going down the road, you're going down the road, you're in the wind, you can't really tell a difference on the interstate between a trike and a two-wheeler. It's when you get into the curves that there is a significant difference between being on two wheels or on a trike.
So I know going through curves on a two-wheel bike, you sort of have that free-floating, minimalistic feeling. You're not surrounded by windows or windshields or radios, steering wheel, or any of that stuff. Is it the same on a trike?
No. On two wheels, and I still ride two wheels. I ride two wheels. Some days I'll ride a couple different two-wheelers and the trike all on the same day.
Right.
When I'm on two wheels and I'm going through the curves, I feel like I'm flying. I mean, I've always equated riding like flying. And so on two wheels, you're just going through the curves, you're just flying through the curves. You almost forget that there's even a bike involved. It's just like you personally are flying. On a trike, it's not that way, because on a trike, there's no leaning. On a two-wheel bike, when you go around a curve, it pushes you into the seat, and you steer more with just moving like I am now. Whereas on a trike, you have to actually steer it. And with the trike, when you go around a curve, the centrifugal force tries to push you off the side of the seat. For the rider, it's not that big of a deal because they have the handlebars that they can hold on to and their knees that are pinching the tank.
Right.
For the passenger, well, with Mary, what she does is she puts her feet up on the passenger pegs and sort of hooks her heel of her boot into there and pushes back against the backrest, and that keeps her from going off the side of the seat. And I don't want to make it sound worse than it is. That's when we're going really fast through the curves. Just normal riding, it's not that big of a deal. But that's the difference. Is that with the trike, when you're going through the curves, you know that there's a machine involved because you're having to steer it and literally turn the handlebars to get the trike to go through the curves. Whereas on a two-wheel bike, you don't have that. But when you're eating up the miles going down the interstate, there's no difference.
Understood. So how does Mary feel about it? Being the passenger, and I feel like the one that packs the luggage, how does she feel about the trike as opposed to touring on a two-wheel bike?
Well, there's a lot of aspects to that. The first is she likes a two-wheel bike for shorter rides or one-day rides. There's more wind that goes past her. It seems like the fenders on the trike sort of block the amount of wind that she experiences as a passenger. But when we go on trips, we can fit far more luggage into the trike than we can on a two-wheel bike.
I imagine so.
And not only can we fit more in, it seems easier to access. It is easier to access out of the trunk. Of course, the tour pack's the same, on a touring two-wheeler or the trike. But the trunk is easier to access stuff than it is out of the saddlebags.
Understood, understood. Now, can she access the tour pack when you're underway?
Well, she can't get inside the tour pack, but when we go on a long trip, we've, over the years, developed things to do, you know, when you're doing 6, 7, 8, 9-hour days. And what we do is we pack a little cooler on the rack on top of the tour pack, and just have a bungee there. And the cooler has little pockets, little like elastic pockets on the outside. So she puts snacks in there, and so she can actually reach back into the tour pack and grab out a snack, open it up,
Right.
hand it to me, get whatever she needs. And on the trike, that's a non-issue, because
Right.
she can do that, be moving all around. She even sometimes unzips that thing and grabs something out of there, moving all around back there. And on the trike, it makes absolutely no difference. She also moves around a lot on the two-wheel bike, and when she does, I end up having to, you know,
Yeah.
compensate for her moving all over the place, because she's gotten used to be able to move. Like, she's taking pictures, she's hanging way off the side of the bike to get a picture. And when she does it on a trike, I don't even feel it. On the two-wheel bike, I'm having to compensate a lot. And I don't say anything to her. The one thing she does remember is when we're stopped, not to move around a lot when we're going really slow. So that's another benefit to the trike, is the stability and the ability of the passenger to fidget all they want. It makes absolutely no
Yeah.
difference.
Now, I've seen you on several occasions on the Softail riding without hands, just cruising along, letting your hands hang. What's that like on the trike? Is that doable? Is that realistic?
Well, not sure why I do like to ride with no hands, but on the trike, you cannot use your weight to steer on the trike. I've tried really hard, putting a lot of weight on one foot, leaning my body, even shifting in the seat to try and be able to steer with the trike, and it can't be done. So I can let go of the handlebars for 5, 10 seconds. Maybe the longest I've been able to go is maybe 30 seconds. But it wasn't because I was steering, it's because the road was perfectly flat, no crown in the road to make the trike drift one way or another in the lane. So you can't really do that like you can on a two-wheel bike.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Now, so it seems to me like the trike is more effortless to operate. Does that mean you can you get more seat time in a day than you would on a two-wheel bike?
Yeah, we we tour. Sometimes Mary and I go on 2, 3, 4, even 5-week trips.
Right.
And when we have done that on two wheels, and we still go on shorter trips on two wheels, at the 5 or 6 hour mark, Mary starts getting tired. 8 to 10 hours, and she's beat.
Yeah.
Okay, but on the trike, she can go 8 to 10 hours and feel just as fresh as she does at 5 to 6
Yeah.
on the two-wheel bike.
And wake up and do it again the next day.
Yeah, day after day. And so, for myself, 8 to 10 hours is about when I start getting tired on two wheels or on the trike. And so, you can go, for whatever reason, you can go much longer, and Mary can go much longer on the trike than she can on two wheels.
So living in a rural area like we do, one thing that is an apparent issue for me personally is small animals, squirrels, raccoons, dogs, even deer can be a road hazard. Are you as concerned about those on the trike as you would be a two-wheel bike?
Well, I don't want to hit any of them, but the thing is, if I do on the trike, if I'm going to hit one, I'd rather do it on the trike than on
Understood.
two wheels. Simply because, you know, it's going to take a lot to tip that trike over. And, you know, you can be going around a corner and maybe hit a snake or a raccoon or something on a two-wheel bike, and likelihood is you're in
Going
a
down.
curve, you're going to go down. whereas you're just not going to on the trike. And so the trike is, you know, much safer in that aspect. A few weeks ago, when we're going to be traveling at nighttime locally, we almost always take the trike just because there are so many critters out at night, and so it's just safer to take the trike.
Okay.
And there's quite a few other safety factors that we've experienced with the trike. One is, and we don't quite understand it, but we have observed it. You know, we have over 100,000 miles riding Tri Glides, and hundreds and hundreds of thousands riding two wheels. And 95 times out of 100, when a car will pull in front of us or move over into us, into our lane on the interstate, or pull out of a driveway in front of us on a surface street on two wheels, they're not going to do it on a trike. For some reason, even they see the trike a lot more. They don't want to get hit by the trike, and they don't mind getting hit by a two-wheel bike. I don't know what the difference is, but on two wheels, we're constantly having people move into us, pull in front of us, and it just very, very rarely happens on the trike.
Wow.
Yeah.
So dirt and debris and things like that in the roadway, that's really less of a concern for a trike than it's two-wheel bike.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to hit anything on a trike or a two-wheel bike, but sometimes you're going down the road and, you know, a pickup truck loses a ladder or a cooler lid or or there's sand or gravel in the road or oil in a left-hand turn lane where someone's been sitting. And on a two-wheel bike, you know, some of those things can be catastrophic. You could end up, you know, low siding, and on a trike it's just a non-issue. So, you know, I think you asked about it being more relaxed riding a trike, and I think that's one of the things that makes riding a trike more relaxed is, although you look for those things and you don't want to hit them, you don't have to be on high alert if there's something on the road. You're just going to run over it in the trike. Whereas, you know, if you're in a curve and there's a turtle in the road, you got to make sure you do not hit that hard rounded shell in a curve on two wheels, because almost for sure you're going to go down. I'm not talking about straight, but if you're in a curve, you're going to end up going down, and whereas you don't want to hit it in the trike, you don't have to be on high alert.
Right.
You know, it's going to end you in the hospital if you hit it.
Understood. Now, one thing I've always wondered was, is it more taxing on a three-wheeled bike to traverse and avoid potholes and things like that? You know, in a car, four wheels, you can drive over them. On a motorcycle, two-wheel bike, you can dodge them. But on a trike, you have 1, 2, 3 wheels, 3 tracks.
3 tracks, yeah. So, on a two-wheel bike, like you said, you have 1 track, and so if there's a pothole or something, you can go around it. With the trike, you have the 3 tracks, and you're going to hit a lot more bumps on a trike than you are a two-wheel bike, and possibly even than you are in a cage. And so, and you know, combined with Harley's factory suspension, it can be sort of a rough ride.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons we have spent so much time improving the suspension on the trikes, is because you have those 3 tracks and you're just going to hit stuff.
You're going to, yeah.
So if you have a good suspension, and then what I do, I try and hit, if I look and I can see, oh, there's 2 bumps ahead, and I'm going to hit I'm going to hit one or both of them. I try and hit the worst bump with my front wheel, with the front suspension, and then the lesser with the rear suspension.
So what's it like riding the trike in snow and ice?
Well, it's warmer than riding it in cold rain. Yeah, because you don't get wet. But I ride the Tri Glide all the time in conditions that I wouldn't even consider riding the two-wheeler in. Because snow, as long as there's not ice below it, ice holds no interest for me riding a trike or a two-wheeler in the ice.
Right.
Because it's just like an ice skating rink. But if it's snow, I was amazed, you know, how well the Tri Glide handles in the snow. Even if there's a little bit, even if it's slushy, icy slush, as long as it's not like an ice skating rink below it. I've tried that and I didn't like it. But the snow, no problem. We got caught in the middle of summer before last. We were on the Tri Glide in Wyoming or Montana, and we got caught in blizzard conditions. I mean, we couldn't even see very far ahead of us. And it was sunny before that and sunny after that. It was just going over this one pass. If we would have been on the two-wheel bike, I don't know what we would have done because there was really no place to pull over. But the trike, we just turned our heated gear up. We were warm and we just kept going. I did have to like keep wiping the snow off of the windshield, but other than that, we just kept going. It's very sure-footed, and you know, I ride whenever I see that it's going to snow. I'll purposely ride the trike.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Tri Glide to work in the snow because it's sort of fun.
Yeah. What's the most obscure pro to having a trike that most people wouldn't even think unless they own the trike themselves?
Oh, that's a weird question. Okay. Well, one thing that people may not think about much, it's way, way easier, much easier for both Mary and I to mount and dismount off of the trike than it is a two-wheel bike. We still ride the two-wheel bike, even the Softail, which is very low. It's much easier for us to get on and off of the trike than it is a two-wheel bike. And it might have something to do with I'm 61, she's 63, I don't know, but I mean, it's just much easier to get on and off of the Tri Glide.
As you own a few bikes, a Sportster, a Softail, the Tri Glide, and a few others in the past, but every day you ride up to work in something different. How do you decide which one to ride?
Well, if I have a lot of stuff to carry, if the weather's bad, I'm probably going to be riding the Tri Glide. If my foot's really hurting, I'm going to probably be riding the Tri Glide because you just don't have to put your foot down and balance and such. If I feel like really flying through the curves, I'm going to be on the Sporty or the Softail. Not that riding on the Tri Glide is not fun through the curves, but you're a little bit more aware that the machine is there compared to the Softail or the Sportster. Mary and I, if we're going on a long trip, we're going to take the Tri Glide simply because we can pack more and we can go longer without getting fatigued. The Tri Glide is a ton of fun to ride. It's a different kind of fun, especially when you get in the curves and the twisties. It's a more relaxed ride because you don't have to worry about if there's, you know, stuff in the road, and you can be a little bit more confident that people are going to see you and not try and run you over.
Right. Which is a big deal.
Yeah. So I'm fortunate that I can choose to ride between all three of them.
So it's safe to say Mary prefers the trike.
She actually prefers the two-wheel bike if we're riding during the day because she gets more wind, and Mary likes leaning over in the curves. But if we're going any kind of distance, by that I mean if we're going to be gone a week or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, then yeah, it's not a question. She wants to take the Tri Glide because there's more room, easier to get to, and after 4, 5, 6 hours, she's starting to get tired on two wheels where she doesn't on the Tri Glide.
Understood.
Hey, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Also, if you could please subscribe, helps us out a lot and we'd really appreciate it. You can also hit the notification bell, and when we come out with a new video, you'll get notified. If you have things that you like about riding a trike or don't like about riding a trike that we didn't mention in the video, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you really like about riding a trike, what you don't like about riding a trike, and that'll help everybody else who's watching and looking at making a change or adding a trike to their stable of bikes. Thanks, we appreciate it.